oh, is your Lee Sin good? Is your Lee Sin good to pre-button? I'd say it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a champion he's very comfortable on. Also seen him running Elise, I believe, as well earlier in the tournament. Waddy Fox, though, I always have to be so careful when I say that name, has played both Orianna and also Yasuo earlier on in the tournament. And to be fair, went huge on both champions. He got a quadra kill, the only quadra kill we've had so far in this tournament. He did pick up for himself and Orianna after an incredibly beautiful shockwave. And then actually carried. I don't think he died a single time in that game.
I don't think he did.
Like 9-0 or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Now, the bans, again, nothing particularly too surprising here. We saw SK run that Jax with the Orianna composition and the Jarvan as well. So Jax going to be banned out away, as is Braum. Both going to be not available for this game. And Lulu will round out the bans for SK. Once again, Kayle and Lulu being banned out by the blue side.
Yeah, heavily focusing Shadow there, actually, the mid laner for RoughNeX. So obviously trying to delve deep into his champion pool, but nothing really surprising apart from that.
Yeah, nothing overly crazy yet in the bans. What is remaining? Kassadin still not banned out. LeBlanc not banned out. Ziggs not banned out. All really potent champions, and it's a Yasuo that will be the final ban, allows Kassadin to be insta-locked by SK.
Yeah, so SK this time going to go for their third different mid laner. Yasuo and now Kassadin, both incredibly tough to play right, I would say. You know, anyone could pick them up, but to play them at the top level takes a lot of skill, a lot of know-how.
That is true, but once you have mastered that, you know, anytime you get your hands on them, it's a pretty easy situation to be in. You've just got to play your lane right, and then from there, kills should start just going your way.
I'm trying to cast my mind back, and as you know, my memory is horrendous. I think it was Perks that played Kassadin for GSI in the first game when they went behind, but they managed to bounce back, and they let loose on him. They didn't really focus him, and he got a triple kill, I think, on the Nexus.
Yeah. And
pretty much stalled the game out for a bit longer. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that is because Kassadin is just very, very strong. He's had his ups and his downs. We did talk about this previously, but right now, I think he's in a good place.
Yeah, he seems to be in a good place. Still very much ban-worthy, but there was a lot of the ease of play taken out of Kassadin. It's now a lot more difficult to get his damage out, so you actually have to be a good player to actually really utilize Kassadin well. So, I mean, at the top level, it doesn't really affect too much. He's still very strong, but a lot of his kit just did get, you know, toned down a slight touch and readjusted so that the late game was perhaps even more scary. Now, we've had Elise and Thresh locked in as well, and this is the beginning of a very scary pick composition.
We've seen Aurelia a lot tonight, actually. I want to say she's been played in every game barring one.
I think that would be right, and it's somewhat expected.
I think the only game she wasn't played in, it was Trundle versus Shyvana. And the rest of them, I believe she was played. Now, I may be off on that one, but either way, been played plenty. Steve, this will be the third time that Steve's played her. I know that for certain. And again, Lucian, no huge surprise. Wouldn't surprise me if we see Twitch on the other side going with Thresh.
Nope, would not be a surprise either. And, you know, RoughNeX picked up Lucian, so that, as you said, that is going to leave that open. Interesting to see what they're going to pick as a support to go alongside Thresh. Wouldn't expect Annie, but...
It is Yarrow.
It is Yarrow, was the thing I was going to also echo that sentiment. So Annie has fallen way out of the meta, just because of the way the support lane has changed, the support role has changed a little bit. You had the bring back of Morgana with the Black Shield, and obviously the nerfs that Annie received. Heavy nerfs on the early game damage. Still has that, Flash Tibbers available, and still is a great engage tool, but really just doesn't offer a lot of the all-round strength that a lot of the other supports actually offer.
And it's a ballsy, dangerous pick against Thresh as well, for the same reason that Zilean was previous in the tournament, that if Annie gets caught by a death sentence, Twitch has been locked in, no massive surprise there, but especially with a Twitch, if Annie gets caught by a death sentence into Flay, half of her HP is just disintegrated in the matter of a second. Like, it's just gone. Yeah. So when you get Rat-a-tat-tat and the box as well on top of that, Annie, Yarrow's going to have to position nearly perfectly, I've got to say, at bot lane, or he's going to get punished.
Yeah, that's something we're going to have to watch out for. That was another thing, was the door and shield nerfs and stuff like that made it that her trading potential does really just kind of dropped. I'm not expecting a Gangplank at all.
No.
I'm going to be honest. I mean, if it is locked in, it'll be a placeholder pick because we are on live client.
Yeah.
We're on Tournament Realm. It's a Jarvan. Okay, makes a lot more sense. Yeah, that was kind of what I was expecting. I was going to say, I would really struggle to see that Yarrow didn't have every champion available.
I guess we've seen Kale jungle today.
Yeah,
but that's still more viable than Gangplank. He doesn't really offer. Role. He doesn't really offer anything like raise morale maybe to get the speed up.
Yeah,
but
we're overthinking this.
Yeah, we are.
It's not. It's not happening. It's a Jarvan. It's a Jarvan Orianna combo. Is where I was going with that, which ironically is what we saw SK run earlier.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, when we got the quadra kill, Cataclysm into Shockwave is what set that one up. So. It is pretty nice.
Similarly, Irelia will fulfill a similar role to Jax in this kind of later tail end of the fight cleanup kind of role from Shockwave. Now, I kind of feel like it probably won't be as punishing as SK ran it earlier. They got a quadra kill from that dragon fight, and as long as RoughNeX, as long as SK play smart here, they shouldn't give away a fight like that. Their team composition has great scaling. Cassidy and Twitch, just amazing into the late game. So RoughNeX may struggle there, but the danger with going against a team fighting composition with that wombo combo ball delivery kind of system is that that's always going to have that potency. That fight is always going to be that strong. And if you make one misstep late into the game, it doesn't matter how well you're scaled into the game is pretty much done.
Yeah. Definitely. And I also want to say that GSI's first game, a very similar composition to this. I think they had Nami instead of Thresh, but the same may even be... I think the rest of the comp is pretty much identical. And they did fall behind, and they got pressured. Sure, they had an awesome comeback, but it just proved to be a bit too much. Now, the question for me is, can RoughNeX get that composition to work? Because it's all well and good us putting down the foundations and saying, Shockwave and Cataclysm is crazy good, but you have to execute it. That's the key point here. If you don't execute it, it doesn't matter. But they also have Tibbers to set it up as well. Yeah,
I'm actually a little bit surprised at the Annie pick with regards to where they've landed the rest of their champions. I mean, Annie doesn't offer anything that other supports wouldn't offer. Leona would offer a very similar role from a greater distance without having to expend flash. And I don't see that Annie's laning presence against Thresh Twitch is as good as other supports either. So, I don't know. I just feel like ever since Annie had her trading potential in lane reduced quite a lot, it's very difficult to get it to work properly.
I agree. Even something like a Morgana, for me, would work. I guess the downside of Morgana is Cataclysm can lock you out once you've used Soul Shackles. So you have to be on point with the communication. But actually, I was going to say the same thing. I feel Leona would have been a really good lock here. Long range engage, and then on top of that, Jarvan and Orianna pile in. Maybe Yarrow's going to be building more towards damage is the only thing I can think of here, because one of Orianna's weaknesses is she does fall behind. She doesn't quite have the massive amount of burst potential as we saw what the Fox do before. So you do kind of have to get fed and get the big items early to make it work.
You do indeed, but again, that kind of utility is always going to be there on that wombo combo style. And we are just going through the delay period. Don't think we've got too much longer left before we head into the game. But again, we are on live. We were on Tournament Realm earlier. They're both on the same patch, but a little bit surprisingly, perhaps, more stable on EU West, which, is not something that is always said about the server, but I guess that new Amsterdam farm is working well for EU West.
Yeah, it's great that it's working well for us, because if this wasn't, we'd be out of choices.
Let's play on NA. We've got like 120 ping.
Yeah, that would be pretty brutal. Pretty tough on the players,
I mean,
the
internet, the network in here is actually really good.
Oh, yeah.
But nobody wants to play on 120 ping in a tournament game for the last game of Group B.
Which means so much as well. Again, if RoughNeX win this match, 3 teams will be tied at 2-1.
Yes.
If SK Gaming Prime win this, them and then Faculty will go through to the next stage. So it's easy to say, okay, SKP, they've won both their games, it's easy peasy for them. No, it's still on the line for them. they want to go through to the next day without having to play an additional 2 or 3 games. Like they don't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah, so the only team that do not have anything riding on this game, unfortunately for them, is GSI, as they have finished the group stage 0-3, but we are into game now, and we're into a pause. Okay, yeah, we are paused in the game. Hopefully it's not too long a pause, as apparently it is just a minute or 2. So, where does that leave us? This Annie support is so different to what we've been seeing all day.
Yeah, it definitely is. But again, it harkens back to what we were talking about before, that it's Yero. And that pretty much just sums it up. The guy is known for his quote-unquote unconventional picks, which may sound strange because at one point Annie was, the go-to support for a while, but has definitely fallen off. But this is a guy that in his top 4 support champions plays Zillion and Fiddlesticks, and we've already seen Zillion today. We've yet to see Fiddlesticks. I'd like to see Fiddle at some point, but this guy is known for his versatile champion pool. Yeah,
so I think Fiddlesticks is actually kind of a layover from... he ends up playing a lot against Vayne, and Fiddlesticks is just good against Vayne.
Right, yeah.
Because obviously there's short range. We've got a bit of a rave going on here. Looks like everybody's having good fun here at DreamHack. As the lights have dimmed in here now. It's still very light outside. That was quite surprising yesterday when I came into Sweden and it was like 11 in the evening and still daylight.
Yeah. It's summertime though.
It is. And you know what better a way? What better a way to be spending our summertime than in an awesome place like DreamHack?
Oh, definitely. It really is a treat being here, honestly. And this is my second DreamHack. It's your first one, Stress.
It is.
I asked Pulse this earlier, but what are your first impressions of the entire venue?
It's awesome, man. I'm really loving how hyped everybody is as well. I mean, there's a load of people just huddling around every single game that, people are interested in. The crowds are huge, man. This is insane.
Yeah, and that's it. There's a lot of good energy as well. There's a lot of good vibes in the entire venue. So I would definitely suggest that if you are in the future thinking about going to a DreamHack, do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Now with a Nike sponsorship as well. Well.
That's not where I was going with it, but I'm glad you picked that one up.
Are the teams still paused, I believe?
Well, because we're on a 3-minute delay, they could be playing right now.
Yeah,
we'd still have to wait.
I think we just got a shot from the camera on one of their screens that said it was still paused. Oh, no, it's been resumed. Okay, I'm completely wrong on that one. Awesome. Well, we are into game. They have re-established control of the camera as it was flying around the place, but that means it's our final game of the day here for Group B, potentially our final game of the day. It's RoughNeX on the red side and SK Gaming Prime on the blue. Let's see whether SK can go 3-0 and top Group B.
And do Faculty a favor at the same time. Because if SK win this, Faculty will go through being the only team 2-1 in the group. GSI didn't win a game, and right now, RoughNeX are 1-1. SK Gaming Prime, they are thinking about going in for an invade, but they will find an Irelia in the form of Steve waiting for them in the tri-bush. It's not the first time that we've seen potential invades tonight. Oh, Steve.
Oh.
Okay, just putting a ward down. It's okay. Crisis averted.
Steve, playing with fire. I left the vision up on SK's vision there for a second, sorry, RoughNeX vision. So Steve had no idea. Luckily warded out. Did manage to get a safe ward, but that will call the end to that aggressive push. Nothing came of it. So, defensive starts out of both teams for the meanwhile. Lots of wards up in the top side of the jungle as well. Means that river really is just going to be easily tracked out by the RoughNeX team.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something we've seen a lot of the teams doing today as well. Getting those very important wards down for information. Not only does it tell you if the opposition is coming in to invade, but it also may give away whether there is going to be a lane switch up coming about as well, which, unbeknownst to the red team of RoughNeX, is actually happening. So we are going to have Heidel. I just remembered that it is Heidel playing alongside Zayton. He does have a different name, which is because we're on live, so it's a bit confusing.
It is indeed. Now, they actually crossed the ward. Oh, we're back onto a pause.
Maybe we're right then. Maybe it was paused, but just 3 minutes in the future.
I'm a time traveler, apparently. I have that kind of effect. I can see 3 minutes into the future if given a view of 3 minutes into the future by our camera people.
It's a weird situation to be in. That's pretty much it. Exactly what happened. So we will try and notify you guys as soon as we find out what the issue is. Hopefully it will be rectified and fixed very shortly for you. But there's really nothing to report so far in this game. I mean, it's just pretty straightforward. You're going to have lane switch up, which leaves Lucian and Annie facing off against Shyvana.
Yes, that will be what it leaves us with. Now, I believe it's still paused, from what I can gather. Seen a couple of little conversations between admins and players. Perhaps they are into game. Looks like they are back, but there you can see SK Gaming Prime with a team of staff behind them as well.
Yeah, pensive, deep in thought, it would appear.
Contemplating what a 3-0 finish of the group would do for them.
Yeah, and also importantly, if you have just joined us or if you're not entirely sure about the other group, you have teams like Reason Gaming, also known as X Meet Your Makers. We do have a resume coming in, but NIP are also in the Group A. And the Bring Your Own Computer tournament, I believe you said Team Property won.
I saw a tweet that Team Property had won, but it was in Swedish, and my Swedish isn't very good. So it looked like there was congratulations to Property, but we'll follow up on that and see if we can get a confirmed set of information on that. Now, Yarrow is going to go aggressive into the jungle. Can he actually steal anything away? Nearly got it.
Yeah, I thought he actually had. Just for a millisecond there, I was like, oh, Yarrow, you sneaky, sneaky man.
Sneaky. Very, very sneaky. But SK are going to go for the buddy system.
They are, and you can't really blame them when you're in a 1v2 against Annie and Lucian. You probably don't want to be just setting your feet and trying to get all the experience. Steve will be teleporting up to top lane, already level 2. That is the power of the buddy system that you all came to know it as. But yeah, it's going to just be Heidel and Zeiden getting as much farm as possible on Twitch.
Indeed. And, you know, getting farm on Twitch, never a bad thing. Getting farm just in general is never a bad thing if you're not dying for it. But there we go. We were another pause. It's pause time here in our final game of the day. They just want to prolong this action.
They do. They're keeping it tense. They're keeping us right on the edge of our seats. They don't want to give anything away just yet.
To be honest, I wouldn't want to go on the edge of the seat. It's quite high, so I'd probably fall. And then I know like our producers would somehow be recording that.
And then it would be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It would be funny, though. Probably. Probably take a while. But
I would find it hilarious, personally, but I'm guessing you wouldn't.
Well, at least I would be able to acknowledge it's funnier than Pulse's jokes.
He's cracked a couple of epic moments tonight, hasn't he, Mr. Pulse? I think he's in the audience somewhere. I can't see.
Yeah, neither can I. But what I can see is pause timer, and it makes me sad.
It does. It's not a sight that anyone likes to see in League of Legends, and unfortunately, it befalls us to try and fill in this time.
It does indeed. I want to take a quick look at Annie for a second, because there's got to be something to this. And I think I may have somewhat found what it is. So, while Annie has had her trading potential reduced, oh yeah, I've seen it. Yarrow, I can read you like a book now that we're in game. Yarrow has 38 AP, and the base damages of Annie are actually still okay. So every W and Q combo that he lands, W is doing about 78 damage, Q is doing about 80. So that's a significant chunk of damage in a trade. And you know, I was talking to him about a couple of support options earlier, and he likes running those damage supports, and you kind of called it in Champion Select that maybe that's what he was going for.
Yeah, because when you have Orianna, as I say, if it works, it's great, but if Annie can start to get some big ultimates down with a lot of AP, then it's definitely a good choice for them. And this is going to make Smitty J's job actually quite difficult. Already you can see that RoughNeX are being forced back, though, at the top lane already.
Yeah, you can indeed. And God, it feels like there's an earthquake in here with The StarCraft stream next to us just kicked itself into action and shaking our casting area, but
The base, though.
the base cannon has dropped. That is what I will say.
It's actually quite, it's like a massage on my backside. It's quite nice.
I do not want to think about that.
Yeah, you do, don't lie.
No, I really do not. But what I do want to think about is how important this game is.
Oh, that's key. This is the most important game so far of Group B.
It is.
There's no doubt. Everything rests on this. You'll have two other teams, well, I'm saying that actually, it's one other team in the form of Faculty who will be watching this very closely. And here comes the flash cocoon from Gilius. Won't be connecting, but does burn Shadow's flash, so that's good news in that way.
Yeah, flash for a flash there. You know, jungle a flash for mid lane flash. I think if it was anybody but Orianna, unless Shadow continues to push, it would have been okay. But, you know, if Shadow keeps pushing this, it's a little bit of a risky play here because at least it's just going to come back around. Has been warded, so no chance of really getting in here. But, I mean, What the Fox is going to have a lot of mobility now to exploit Shadow being out of position.
Yeah, you can see that Elise Gilius is just not letting up. He wants to be that, wants to try and capitalize on this, but in fairness to Shadow, he's playing passive. He realizes he's vulnerable right now. He's called it, he's read the script, and he doesn't want to fall for it.
Indeed. However, Steve got flayed back a little bit there. Death Sentence does not land. Big wave pushing into the tower, so I keep wanting to say Ziz, but it's Haydal. In homage to the you know, the bodybuilders is that was all over. I think he was like 4chan. Like,
was he the guy admiring my aesthetics? Or?
I can't remember, but you know, all I know is Haydal seems to have him as, you know, a figurehead.
That appears to be the case. Now let's see if he can make Twitch into a monster late game. I mean, that really is the focus here. Obviously, if they can get Kassadin along the way to get some kills, and we've seen that What the Fox, if given an inch, will take a mile on these champions. He likes to snowball, and he likes to snowball hard, and he has a good champion for just that.
Hadn't really focused too much on the CS yet, but look at the difference between Shyvana and Irelia. When you take into account that both bot lanes are pretty much farming evenly, Irelia is miles behind Shyvana right now.
Yeah, definitely, and that's just impressive from Smitty J, honestly. That he's able to double the CS, and in doing so, actually, he's going to be picking up the Dragon alongside Gilius and also Kassadin, so that is going to be a nice chunk of change. 1,000 gold lead now to the side of SK, so starting this game off confidently. Yeah,
we didn't actually catch it. That's my fault. We didn't catch them doing the Dragon, but it was a pretty easy Dragon. I mean, that's one of the things about having Elise is... you know, you can juggle the spider aggro and just take a dragon pretty easily. If you know the duo lane is up in the top lane, then it's pretty uncontestable.
Quite a bit of burst damage as well on Elise. So a nice champion to just steal away those dragons, or indeed just to pick them up and secure them. Bot lane now, Steve is being aggressed on from Haydal and also Zayton, enough to push him back 21 CS to 36, but Shyvana was helping the dragon beforehand and has gone back to top, so all that Yero's trying to do here with Lucian is not really paying off.
Yeah, and you can see here that Smitty J is level 6, so no real chance of him dying right now. Dragon's Descent is available, so he'll be able to avoid just pretty much any kind of aggression coming out of RoughNeX unless he's really not smart about things, but I would not expect that for how Smitty J has been playing all day today.
Yeah, he's been solid. He's been pretty much a rock for SK Gaming Prime, and he likes to play these champions that can engage as well. It can be, you know, the tanky front lines for his team. So it's not surprising to me that so far he's doing a nice job. And he's consistently being about double CS over Irelia as well, which is just all around great news for his side. SK Gaming Prime have picked up the first tower, so both the first objectives falling into their hands.
Yeah, it's a similar situation up in the top lane for RoughNeX. I believe they got that tower pretty low themselves, so wouldn't be surprised to see them push on towards it. But you can see they're not actually full-on shoving it right now. They're waiting for the next wave to come in, and then are likely to shove it. I'm wondering whether the next wave... Yeah, the next wave is going to be a siege minion wave, so that's the kind of time that they want to be shoving the wave in. but they've got to be careful that they're not taking too much time over this, because they could be used elsewhere on the map. Look at how SK are pushing in this bottom lane.
Yeah, time really is of the essence, and they are going down to that secondary tower at bot. There's not a great deal Irelia can do about this one, with Elise kind of circling to top lane. It could potentially be a 2v3 at bot, but honestly, Heidel should be fine. He can just ambush away.
Yeah, he should be. We'll see whether that is the case there. RoughNeX have taken the tower. See whether they recall from that or whether they'll continue to push in the top lane. However, it is top lane that has the gank coming in.
Yeah, Gilius and Smitty J, I said before, he's going to top lane. He seems to have got his men. There is the Tibbers, though. They will pick up the kill, and Smitty J quickly realizes the hard way he can't afford to contest this one. Culling comes out as well. It shouldn't be enough damage to claim the second kill, but it does get first blood nonetheless.
And What the Fox was forced to flash out as well. He was trying to get up to the top lane, but it was in fact Orianna following him up there. And a little bit of miscommunication there by SK. They went for that gank and then split their focus. I have to feel if Smitty J and Gilius were on the same page there, they would have been able to pick up a kill. As it stands, Gilius went aggressive onto Lucian, and Jeebus kind of just put him down for it. Yeah. There was kind of nothing he could do at that stage.
That's it. They were both focusing different targets. If you both go for Annie there, probably going to get the kill. In that case, you can even turn that back round. You know, we could be looking at a 2-0 scoreline in favor of SK, but you know, all that hard work with the double objectives they picked up has been pretty much nullified. Just 100 gold in it now, Stress. Super, super close game.
Yeah, big, big game. It being so close is just going to build the tension even more here. Now we're looking for Gilius. He's looking for a cocoon, but sure he's actually going to get it there. Because you know what, the Fox really isn't in a situation yet that he can fight. He's got the Rod of Ages, which, you know, is his core. Looks like he's going to go in.
Oh, heavy engage in the mid lane. This could be Yarrow falling. Indeed, it will be. And Heidel does finally get that kill. Shyvana also will pick up the top tower. They do come back in the best possible way, and in fact, they could go ahead and force the mid tower as well.
Yeah, he's a big spike in aggression out of SK Gaming, and you know, I was saying that I don't think what the Fox wanted to engage there. With 4 people, of course he would. At that situation, it just no reason for SK not to fight that. They caught Yarrow out. He had no Tibbers available, and he was an easy pick.
Easy pickings indeed. So there's going to be suddenly 3 towers to 1. Jarvan goes in, does get caught for his troubles from the death sentence. It will live up to its name as the Cataclysm comes down, and that will be a kill for Kassadin. Heidel took quite a bit of punishment from Jeebus in the meanwhile, but too little too late as far as RoughNeX are concerned.
And the thing is, SK's composition is a pick composition, and they're getting them all the time now.
I think that was a flash out of the piercing light right there, but Jeebus will be falling from a flying dragon. Shockwave comes in, lands on 3, but more defensive, I have to feel, rather than aggressive. They couldn't follow up on the ult, even though it was a very nicely timed one.
RoughNeX cannot afford to give SK these picks. They've gone to 3 very important characters as well. Shyvana has picked one up. Kassadin has picked one up. Twitch has picked up a kill as well. And that is not what they want to happen, because those are the champions that really are going to start carrying SK in the late game.
And we saw this previously as well. The Perks who picked up Kassadin that went for Rod of Ages into Zhonya's Hourglass, and what the Fox is going to do the exact same thing here. Just going to play safe, be more tanky kind of Kassadin, not going to get burst instantly, and do the sustained damage.
Yeah, I mean, Kassadin's late game scaling kind of got affected in the positive way that a lot of Kassadins used to kind of go that the dual, you know, kind of over time style where you had tier, you had catalyst, and you just built for the late game. Now his late game damage is good enough that you can kind of have a couple more options here, with that Zhonya's Hourglass being another one of them. So, you know, no need to go for the tier as such in this game, because they feel like they're going to have enough late game damage as it is with Twitch. Hook lands.
It has. Dragon went down beforehand. Rat-a-tat-tat ringing out from Heidel. He's in good position, but his teammates are falling like flies. Double kill for Lucian. Double kill in return, though, from SK Gaming Prime. As Jeebus goes in and does get himself the triple kill. What DFox, though, is in hot pursuit, gets himself another kill, and all hell has broken loose. Jeebus, though, from the side is going to get himself shut down. caught out from the Cocoon. And would you believe it, 4 for 3 trade in favor of SK Gaming Prime.
A fight of two halves there. You saw Lucian picking up a triple kill, and off the screen, What the Fox was pretty much doing the same thing to half the team of RoughNeX. It was a pretty difficult fight to actually follow, but, you know, overall, I believe the Dragon went to SK, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
and they picked up a good few kills there. I think it was a 4 for 3 overall. So SK will come out of that ahead and extend their gold lead ever so slightly. It's now nearly up to 4,000.
A Dragon 4 for 3 and their carries got the kills. Like, that was pretty awesome for SK Gaming Prime. They're definitely going to be happy with that. And hey, we talked about this before, probably the most important match of Group B, and so far, they're in cruise control.
Yeah, you have to feel that N Faculty, every fight that SK get like that, N Faculty will be cheering them on, because it would solidify their place as second in the group. But, you know, this composition, in theory, out of SK, should not lose in the late game. Should not. I mean, when you look at it, with their late game carries, the better they have their early game to push them into the late game, they really should not end up losing things. Save for that kind of fight where we said a big shockwave hits 4 people, 5 people. That's really the only thing that's going to keep RoughNeX in this game as we continue, but it is still all to play for. It is still not at that point where SK's composition is the strongest it is going to be, so there's a lot still to play for RoughNeX.
A similar situation to what we've been in already this evening, Stress, that's all well and good, but on the same token, RoughNeX have to start to make some plays, and if anything, it's the other way around, but that is going to be Hadar getting completely decimated. Cataclysm through from Prebot, flashes away to safety, but again, Kassadin is there to pick up the pieces, got himself 1 kill. Yero is next with the bullseye painted on him, and that's the double kill right now for What the Fox.
It's a triple.
He's looking for another one. Triple kill now from Prebot. Easy peasy, cleaning up the kills, and only Jeebus remains. And just as I'm talking about RoughNeX making the plays, well, SK go ahead and jump in.
6-0-3. This is so similar to the Orianna game earlier. He was gifted kills early on in the game, and from there he's just going to continue to wreak havoc on their opponents. He's got 1,100 gold on him right now, and Jeebus actually has to be careful, although he did put out damage with the culling. Now that Steve is alongside, they will deter SK, but not before they took down a turret. And right now, RoughNeX need to go into damage control. They need to start picking up some turrets here. They need to deny SK any kind of attempt at a Baron or further turrets, because it's pretty important turrets that are left now. It's inner turrets in the middle and lower lane, and from there, if they start falling, it's map control going all the way over to SK.
As a Zhonya's Hourglass just picked up for Kassadin, and a blasting one, so if it wasn't bad enough before, now it's a whole different level of terror that you're facing off against. He's yet to die. And I said this before, 9-0, I think, is the stat from his Orianna game.
It was at one point, yeah.
Did he die on Yasuo?
I think so.
Right, okay.
I remember him going quite ham at times.
He definitely did go ham. Yeah, actually, the more I think about it, I think he died 2 or 3 times in the first game, but nearly a flawless game on Orianna, and they're starting off super strong. But it's easy to pile on the hype and praise for What the Fox, but the rest of his team have been chiming together and making up the plays. Death Sentence lands on Yero, Cocoon as well. Do they want to expend a lot on him? No, because he is, after all, just a support.
They didn't have Shyvana around. Now, that's what this SK composition will do very well if they pull the trigger immediately. The first CC to land has to have that immediate follow-up. They could have obliterated Yero very easily there without any kind of response, but as you said, they didn't really want it. Shyvana was in the top lane, and they don't want to take a disadvantageous fight against this team composition where, you know, one big shockwave could save this game for RoughNeX, but Prebot is low.
That's Prebot, one of the tankiest members. Orianna actually got a kill there on Elise, which was not expected, so 1-for-1 trade, but now he's going to be SK Gaming Prime again, just lurking around the opposition jungle, and right now it's basically theirs. Both jungles belong to SK. Yeah,
I showed you the map vision a little bit earlier. I'll do it again because you can see there's a lot of vision out on the side of SK in the jungle for RoughNeX, but then you look at the other side, they hardly even have vision of their own lower side jungle, let alone anywhere near their opponent's jungle. So RoughNeX needs some time to get out there and ward, but we talked about this earlier, Pulse brought it up, that RoughNeX or essentially Yarrow at times, has looked for the mid and late game wards and has ended up overstepping and gets caught out. And they have to be careful that doesn't happen here, because it'll almost certainly call the end of the game, or at least an inhibitor.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to open up objectives, because I don't want to say that they rely on the Tibbers to land, but it's a big part of their composition. They need the Tibbers to land. And this is one of the reasons we talked about Leona before. Lucian has been found by Haydal, but will be all right to just relentless pursuit himself away, pinging towards Dragon, so they're going to look for yet another objective. Already a good 4,000 gold ahead of their counterparts. And indeed, Dragon will be picked up in just a few moments.
Not really anything that RoughNeX can do about that, so it's just more gold going over to SK. And honestly, I feel like 4,000 or 5,000 is a lot lower a gold gap than I was expecting this game to be. But Yarrow has been caught. Shockwave is going to be huge.
It absolutely is. It does land onto Twitch, but there is Haydal just smashing players down left, right, and center. Double kill for him. A 1-for-3 trade. SK will take this every day of the week. And now that's going to quickly transition and convert into another tower.
It is, and from there, I would not be surprised to see SK either continue to push here or at least establish map control. They're a long way away from Baron, so that would be risky. Now that no Dragon is available, they're kind of playing with fire by looking for this. They need at least another pick if they want to commit to this, because all of the members of RoughNeX are up and they realize it, and now they're on the retreat.
I keep wanting to make really bad Annie puns when you say playing with fire, but I always keep myself from doing so. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I have.
I wasn't meaning that one.
Well, either way, they haven't been burnt just yet. Yarrow, he's trying his best to get into positions, but the problem is that they're so weak now that I don't feel they can really capitalize on that. If they go for Smitty J, they're okay with that. Death Sentence comes in. Oh, that's a nice Dragon Descent right to the back lines. It is going to keep them at bay. And now Haydal again opens up with everything used at his disposal. He's crushing through players. This hasn't gone quite as one-sided as I think they're expecting. And now Haydal has been caught out of position. He will go down from Jeeba. Shockwave comes in. Riftwalk just about saving Watty Fox's life. 2-for-1 trade this time in RoughNeX's favor, and it could get a whole lot worse. Gilius has to flash away. Shadow is going to give chase, but there we go. Cocoon will save Eliza's life.
And I was looking all the way during that fight, I was looking for the Shockwave cooldown because it was ticking ever so closer and closer. Javan died with Cataclysm because they were trying to hold on to it to get that combination and really get into the midst of SK. And from there, Jeebus is going to take down a turret in the middle lane. And can they get themselves an inner as well? It would do a good, you know, service to getting them back into this game, but one tower will do for now. The problem is I don't know how many opportunities RoughNeX are going to be given with that, because that was purely SK trying to push an inhibitor tower when they really couldn't.
Yeah, maybe overestimating their damage and overestimating how sustained their composition is right now. Haydal was in the front lines and he got punished. Got punished hard from both Orianna and Lucia. Got chunked. And that's the point of playing AD carries, that you can be miles ahead, but you're still squishy. You will die if the enemy lands a couple of abilities on you. And Twitch found that out. Actually flashed away, I believe, before dying as well. Yes, flashes on cooldown. So it just goes to show that RoughNeX, they're behind, sure, they're down, sure, but they're not quite out just yet.
It's actually kind of funny. In the same conversation I was speaking to Yarrow about damage support, I said to him, look, all of the Twitch players that we've seen at DreamHack so far have been very aggressive, and it's easy to exploit that because when they overstep, you just punish them for it. You don't really think twice about it, you just take them out. And Haydal was in that kind of position where he was way exposed, and there's really not a lot he can do from there. Nobody was around to rescue him. He relies on Thresh from saving him, and amidst the chaos, there's really no way, but Yarrow has been caught.
He has been caught, does get Tibbers down before dying, and the Shockwave in as well. Yarrow is going to die, but has the damage already been done? Zayton front lines trying to peel away Steve, Cataclysm, the Flag and Drag combo as well, but Prebot will be surely following suit from the rest of his team. That is a 3-for-1 trade so far, but Twitch did die. Jeebus just about by the skin of his teeth surviving. But again, SK Gaming Prime, they come out ahead in a nice trade-off.
They come out ahead, and I have to feel it's a lot to do with Smitty J getting right into the backline, keeping Jeebus busy for that entire fight. So the only person that was taking damage from it was Smitty J, and now the fight continues. Oh, what the fox!
Oh, it was so close to the double kill, but will be a shutdown from Jeebus. And again, over-aggression was the downfall. And that's the first death. 9-1. 30 more seconds in the death chamber.
First death in about 18 kills. Oh, Yarrow.
Oh, rip. Yeah, rip.
I feel like I'm saying that a lot.
But oh, Yarrow.
Oh, Yarrow.
Yeah, it's not been his finest game, has it?
Well, he talked about how at times he can overstep on warding, and I don't know. I mean, he's 1, 6, and 8, and I feel like the Annie pick really isn't doing anything here for SK. It doesn't provide them any kind of safe wave clear because of Annie's short range. It doesn't provide them any kind of security onto Jeebus. It only provides them an engage tool, which other supports, I would argue, do better in the current meta.
I agree with you. Like we had this conversation a bit in the Champions Select. We both agreed Leona would have fit the bill, and been a lot tankier as well. I mean, let's be honest, would not have been burst if Yarrow gets caught in those kind of situations where he dies on Annie. Leona may survive because naturally he's just a very tanky champion. Yeah,
indeed. Now, Haydal has found himself a ward in the bush, and I was going to say they're actually going to start this Baron. They have. You know, Bilgewater Cutlass is not the blade of the Ruin King normally on Shyvana. Typically, you'd have seen that finished by now, but that Randuin's giving it extra survivability. Dragon is going to go down, but who's it going to go to?
Well, that's the question, and it's going to be Jarvan actually manages to steal away the Baron, and now it's gone from bad to worse because kills are coming down aplenty. Jeebus flashing through the wall. Can he get another kill? Yes, he can. RoughNeX are right back into this game, but not quite yet because WaterFox is on full HP, and he's coming in to clean up house. That's a triple kill for Kassadin. Make that the quadra kill, and suddenly, in the blink of an eye, it bounces back around again.
And if the poison hadn't have got the kill for Twitch, that would have been a pentakill for WaterFox. I mean, the Baron went down in favor of RoughNeX, yes, but now they have nobody with Baron still available. It was really only gold at the end of the day, and to be honest, there's a 13-1-7 Kassadin now, and gold's nice and all, but how do you deal with this?
On the loose, on the prowl. And also, I'd like to factor in as well, just for stats, second quadra kill for him today.
That's very true.
There's not much more to say than that. If this guy isn't MVP, I don't really know who has been.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll be taking your guys' feedback on MVP and that as we continue the weekend. But for this game, I think that is and the last actually for SK, that is a safe argument.
Well, can they close it out though? I mean, it's all well and good having a 13-1 Kassadin, but they're not quite at the finishing post just yet. Double stun out from Yarrow, but have burned quite a bit in the process. Jeebus gets caught from death sentence. This is a good position for them. Zayton's going to go down. They used the shockwave to secure that kill. I'm not so sure. I think they should have saved that one, especially if they want to go for Dragon, although they have spotted Twitch at top. So this should be a comfortable Dragon.
Yeah, I'm with you on the shockwave thing. I really was surprised to see that because to me, there was no way SK could fight that. Even with WaterFox on his way, he was never going to get there in time. So it's a really weird... Yarrow and Jeebus are going to go in on this, but here comes Kassadin.
Oh, the follow-up damage, though, is pretty significant from Lucian, but he's been burnt away, and WaterFox hasn't died yet somehow. Does manage to live before being shut down from Jarvan. So another 1-for-1, 80 carry for mid laner. Smitty J, be careful, Yarrow is stood there, and here comes Steve as well. Can they pick up this kill? There's no ultimate available for Smitty J. There's no flash either, so he is going to go ahead and say the best defense is often a strong offense, but he will be falling anyway from Steve. And these have been a couple of mistakes now that SK Gaming Prime have thrown in, and completely needlessly as well.
Yeah, completely unnecessary. They had no reason to dive into mid. They lost a player already. And then try and take essentially a 2v4. I mean, 14-2 Kassadin is great and all, but you're not that strong. You're really not that strong right now. You can't 1v4.
Exactly, that's it. He's got a lot of ability power, but he is still pretty squishy if Lucian gets a few auto attacks off. He's still going to die.
Yeah.
So he needs to be careful. Yes, you've got his Oni's Hourglass, which of course is going to make you invulnerable and you can try and riff walk afterwards. But if you put yourself in a precarious position, you will get punished for that mistake, and that's what we saw just before.
Yeah, now there is no Baron to fight over for a little while yet. but you know, RoughNeX did have it removed from all of their players with a good fight for SK, but you know what? They couldn't convert that into an inhibitor tower. And we always talk about how inhibitor towers really are the saving grace of a game. If you have all 3 inhibitor towers up, there's no possible way of losing a game. You can always come back with pretty perfect play. But SK, I believe, are going to start ramping this pressure up now. You can see them pushing in towards the middle with 4 members, with Shyvana up in the top lane. Very common to see this 4-1 split with a Shyvana with teleport.
Yep, that appears to be the case right now. And RoughNeX, they're going to have to dig in deep here, but you're right though. Whenever your inhib towers are up, you've always got a chance. You've always got a glimmer of hope, especially when you have this kind of wombo combo that's on the side of RoughNeX as well. As you mentioned previously, you land those ultimates in quick succession on top of one another and you layer them. And you can pop the likes of Kassadin. You can definitely pop Twitch. And as soon as Twitch or Kassadin die, that's a lot of damage taken off the table.
And, oh, Hadal was moving forward. That's what I'm talking about is, you know, if they've got that aura from, you know, an upgraded sweeper trinket on, and they spot out Hadal, that could really, really undo everything that SK have built up here. And they're actually going to go for a 1-3-1 now on the split across the lanes, which Kassadin should be able to just pretty much dual 1v1 anybody that is put in front of him. Irelia might be the only one that's going to give him any kind of trouble. But I kind of get a little bit worried for Hadal in that situation.
I feel like a war of attrition going against Kassadin, because it'll just be, you know, rather than being an insta-burst at this stage, especially if it's against someone like Irelia, it will just be whittling down over a good few circles. So it's very reminiscent of a tiger shark almost. Just take a nibble, take a nibble, take a nibble, and then you can finish off Irelia. But you can see that they are definitely respecting Kassadin. They don't want to go ahead and just straight up brawl against him, and they're just playing deep. They're allowing the creeps to come to them, and they're getting the farm and the goals.
Well, this is one thing that RoughNeX have no shortage of, and that is wave clear, but they're pushing out.
They are going to be pushing out right now into the mid lane. And so far, nothing's really kicked off. I mean, the instant backup from SK Gaming Prime. They want no part of this. They're going back in once again, but Shadow's been crushed down. Shockwave comes out, but it's too little too late. This could be the fight that determines the game right now. Steve's going to fall as well. Double kill for Twitch. Kassadin goes deep as well, and he's going to pick up that 4th and 5th kill. Beautiful stuff from SK Gaming Prime. Don't lose a single member.
That could just be the game, potentially. 30-second death timers on RoughNeX right now, and with a minion wave, they could look to just end this here. It's a clean ace to potentially round this game out. Yeah, they're going to just tank this up with Thresh. I believe this is going to be the end of the game. SK, once again, looking dominant here.
Absolutely. That's going to be them 3-0 in the group stages. So when Faculty can breathe a collective sigh of relief, they will be going through to the playoff stage here alongside SK Gaming Prime. And man, that was an L-biter. But in the end, Kassadin just reigned supreme.
Yes, he did indeed. And, you know, what the Fox just really putting on a clinic in the last 2 games. Really doing solid work. And to be honest, it wasn't even as if he was the only one carrying SK at all. Because, you know, Hadal was doing a good job. Smitty J in the top lane doing a great job as well.